So, guys, it is the 80th anniversary of the Green Lantern. You guys all know how big a Green Lantern fan I am. My favorite Justice League member, my favorite DC character by far. I just thought this could be fun. So, Chris, if you could give a ring to anybody in the world, who would it be and what color would it be?
Kate Beckinsale, purple, because then she would have to wear that outfit, and I could see her wear that outfit. It's just so hot. And also Trump, orange, because it's funny, because he's orange. But then, what would he do with it? I guess maybe build a wall finally.
Geoff, what color? Who?
Ryan Reynolds green to redeem himself.
Oh,
Yeah.
We're gonna give you a second shot, Ryan Reynolds. We're gonna give you a second
I
shot.
believe in second chance.
What about Nathan Fillion green so they can finally film that movie?
Oh yeah, the Nathan Fillion Green Lantern.
I like that. I like that.
I want
Kristina,
to see
who?
Adam Sandler with a red ring, just so he can like yell his way through another Oscar bait film.
Could you imagine? Do you imagine him doing Happy Gilmore with a red power ring?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, that would be
Uncut
fucking
Gems.
crazy.
Yeah, Uncut Gems was just
That
like
would be
2
fucking
hours
crazy.
of him yelling, but it kind of fit with the plot. So if we give him a red ring, he can just yell for 2 hours.
I like that. I like that.
And he's a jewelry salesman. Isn't he a jewelry salesman in that movie?
Yeah, he is. It
That's
works-
what
it
the
works
Adam
2
Sandler
ways.
red lantern movie would be called.
Mhm.
Uncut
Part
Gems
2.
2. Uncut Gems 2.
Cut Gems, yeah.
Cut Gems.
I like that. Who would I do? Okay. I think mine would be Justin Trudeau, and I'd give him a green ring, and I'm sure he could pull off blackface Jon Stewart if he really wanted to. So that's
He
mine.
does like dressing up in different.
He does. He enjoys it.
I mean, he's halfway there, just missing the ring.
He's just missing the ring. That's all it is. So yeah, that could be good.
Meanwhile, back on the podcast, 4 colossal nerds named Saba, Chris, Kristina, and Frank have set out to take on a great darkness that has enveloped the world of fandom. With their powers of common sense and the strength to take on even the most butthurt Twitter mobs and insufferable comment section trolls. They fight for truth, objectivity, and nuance in the conversation and debate over fictional made-up shit.
Welcome back to another episode of Meanwhile Back on the Podcast. I'm Frank McGuire.
I'm Kristina Dudumo.
I'm GMAC.
I'm Chris Abana.
Guys, we got a great show lined up for you today. But before we dive into everything, how's everybody doing?
Good. Just survived Valentine's weekend financially. No. But I did see The Gentleman.
Okay.
So good.
Yeah?
Man, Guy Pearce, he's so fucking good.
I love Guy Pearce stuff.
It was really
Yeah.
good filmmaking. Did you see it, Jeff?
Yeah, fantastic movie.
So good, right?
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey.
Don't you mean-
Actually,
don't you
Colin
mean Guy
Farrell.
Ritchie?
Colin-
Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, Guy
I heard
Ritchie.
Guy
really-
Pearce is the actor. Guy
I heard
Ritchie.
mixed things about it. I did want to see it though.
Oh, you
but
should see
yeah.
it. Guy Ritchie's always gonna let me give you some advice. Guy Ritchie's always gonna have mixed reviews because he's such a unique storyteller
Yeah.
that nobody understands.
He makes no apologies to
yeah,
anybody.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
yeah. So good.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell is just playing Colin Farrell in that movie, and he's just so good.
Fantastic.
What's your favorite Guy Ritchie movie?
This one, I have to say this one.
Really?
I like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Love Lock, Stock.
And you guys are all gonna kill me. I like King Arthur because I knew it was a Guy Ritchie movie going in. I think a
Okay.
lot of people
I like
went
the
into
style
the
of
movie.
King Arthur. I thought it was
Yeah.
really good. The fight style was really cool. Yeah.
Exactly. Like all of the heist scenes,
Oh yeah.
right? Like this was a
But
Guy
you're,
Ritchie
a,
movie.
but you're a heist guy. You like anything with
That's
a
true.
heist.
That is true. That is true, Jeff. But yeah, I think a lot of people hated that movie because they were going in thinking it's a King Arthur movie, but really it's a Guy Ritchie movie, like a stylized Guy Ritchie movie in that set
Yeah,
of
I didn't
fantasy
like
setting.
the one thing that pulled me out of the movie was when he was speed boxing. I was like, what? I was like, isn't this like medieval England? I was like, when
Yeah.
did he learn how to speed box? Like, just didn't make any
It's
sense.
an
to me.
ancient art. How do you not know that?
Change your arm, man.
Is it really though?
Although the last fight scene, what did you think of the last fight scene, Jeff?
That's kind of. I feel like it was kind of rushed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that last fight scene I thought was visually stunning, but it didn't fit the rest of the movie.
Yeah. No.
Because they had the final level feel, final. Anyways.
It's like they ran out of time to
Yeah.
film and okay, let's rush this quickly.
Yeah, let's just give him two sides
yeah.
and make it yeah.
Speaking of King Arthur, funny story. So, I was in Las Vegas for a trade show, and I have this guy that I work with all the time. Whenever I'm there, we've kind of become friends over the last 3 or 4 years. So we're having dinner with me and a bunch of his friends and his girlfriend and whatever, and we're talking about storytelling and we're talking about writing, and he's talking about like real examples that like are really inspiring to him, like real life stories, and he starts talking about King Arthur, and I'm like, what? I'm like, why aren't we talking about like real non-fictional characters? And he's like, yeah, King Arthur, you know, Camelot. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry to do this to you in front of all your friends, but King Arthur is not fucking real. And his face just
vibe.
collapsed.
It's the kind of story that has the vibe.
It
like
does.
It could be real.
It
I mean,
does.
until you meet Merlin the magician.
or go through any of their quests. Their quests are so filled with stupid shit.
Well, there's actual historians that believe that there is some.
Yeah. It's
That-
but like it was supposed to be based on a guy
Uther
way
Pendragon.
before even like way before even the country England was the Roman Empire was still there, just based around a centurion or something like that.
Yeah.
But even that nobody really knows.
So Guy Ritchie. Mine is Lock, Stock for sure.
Yeah.
And Rock and Rolla. I really liked Rock and Rolla
Rock and
a
Rolla
lot.
is great.
Rock and Rolla was so
such
good.
a
You didn't
good
see
movie.
Rock and Rolla?
No.
Oh, you gotta see Rock and Rolla, dude. It's so good.
Yeah.
So good. Tom Hardy's in it.
Yep.
Gerald Butler.
Isn't the sequel supposed to come out finally?
I didn't even know there was a
It
sequel
was
for
supposed
it.
to be a trilogy, apparently.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm surprised, Geoff. I thought yours would be Sherlock Holmes.
No, Snatch.
Oh,
Snatch 100%.
Snatch is fantastic.
Which you need to watch.
Yeah, I
Chris.
still need to watch.
You haven't
it.
seen Snatch?
No.
Oh wow.
I just got into Guy Ritchie like recently.
Oh,
'cause of
okay.
my girlfriend.
Brad Pitt's character in that,
Okay.
fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
really
gonna
good.
say because our group of friends always used to be obsessed with Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah.
So that's why that makes sense.
I
Okay.
I fucking love that movie. That movie's so good.
Yeah, because I'm not familiar with any of his other stuff. I've
Yeah.
seen that movie a bunch of times just because like all
You
my
guys
friends.
have to look.
loved it.
Whoever hasn't seen The Gentleman in this room, gotta go get.
Yeah,
see it.
I'm
Nice.
I'm gonna
definitely
go see it a second
it.
time.
I was
think.
like debating with my friend about whether or not we should go to that, and he decided against it. And then we ended up seeing something else instead. I forgot, but like I kind of wanted to see that.
I've got a lot of high hopes for Charlie.
Oh, we saw
Hunnam.
1917
Oh, man.
instead.
No, he's-
I mean,
you saw
they did win a bunch of
1917?
Oscars, so.
Yeah,
How was it?
it was good. It was visually appealing. Really
Yeah?
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, World War One is a whole other
Story's
ball
a
of
bit
wax, dude.
simplistic. Story's a bit simplistic. It's like okay, I don't know, a little bit not believable, but
Okay.
it worked. It worked.
Okay.
It was
What were you
good
saying
enough.
about Charlie?
I've got high hopes for him that
Yeah.
maybe one day
I
he
like him
could
a
step
lot.
in and play Oliver Queen. Like he literally looks like
Ooh, yeah.
Oliver Queen.
Yeah.
I'd love to
Yeah.
see him play Oliver Queen. So like maybe in an Arrow film or a Justice League film or something. But like yeah, I think he'd be awesome as Oliver Queen. And I loved him in Sons of Anarchy. Like Sons of Anarchy is one of my favorite TV series of all time. It's basically Macbeth on motorcycles, but it's still pretty good. I really liked it. Geoff, what'd you do this weekend? What'd you get up to?
Not much. Just kind of did some Valentine stuff and then hung out with the girlfriend.
Cool.
Kind of relaxing weekend.
Cool.
It was nice.
Cool. Christina, what'd you get up to?
I went to a comedy show with all the girls, like on actually Valentine's Day.
Not on Galentine's Day?
No, because
Oh,
we're all
okay.
single. I took all the single girls to a comedy show.
Cool.
So, yeah, and then one girl who has a boyfriend but hates the materialism of Valentine and refuses to participate also came.
Nice.
So we have one of those.
We have one of
so
those.
yeah, it was good. It
Cool.
was like a fun comedy show at Comedy Bar. And
Then we had 2 birthdays
Yeah, and the birthday party. the
Nice.
next- Yeah,
Two of
2
them.
birthdays.
in a row.
Nice.
I was there for both.
Yeah, me too.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
So that was good. But
Heavy-
yeah,
heavy
no
party weekend.
money left after that weekend. So.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't get up to too much. I'm single right now, so there's no Valentine's obligations on me. So still got a bunch of shit I gotta do around my house, so I'm still doing that stuff. I listened to an amazing episode of the Joe Rogan podcast though, over the weekend, and Joe Rogan had on this guy named Daryl Davis, and Daryl Davis is this African American musician who the last like 35 years of his life he's been working to get people out of the KKK and
wow.
Nazi groups, and he's an African American. So like, and he has one of the best records of doing this
Oh,
of
I think-
anybody I've ever heard of.
I think I've seen a documentary about him. Yeah.
Like 200
yeah.
people,
It was
like
really
200
amazing.
people.
Wow.
And the message is so so warm and so great because like he's his mindset's kind of where my mindset is where like, you know, all this kind of yelling across each other really isn't going to help us get anything done. It's more about understanding how people get to these places. Why do they fall into these lives of, you know, driven by hate and prejudice and, you know, misunderstanding of the other? Like where did it start? Where did it come from? And trying to kind of find a way to kind of cross those bridges a little bit and meet in the middle and really kind of talk with each other instead of talking at each other. And I really, really applaud that because I really think that's the way to do it,
he
man.
goes to their meetings and he
He
hangs
does.
out with them at their meetings. Yeah, it's like really, and he like sits and listens to all the terrible stuff that they say. It's like
but he's taken like he's literally gotten like grand dragons out of the KKK.
Oh wow!
Because of his input, right? Just a fucking amazing podcast. Like, and anyway, he was such an eloquent speaker. Like, I'm definitely not doing him any justice by kind of reiterating what I heard, but he's such an eloquent speaker, such an intelligent, compassionate, and thoughtful guy. Like, just amazing. You know, if you know, I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Joe Rogan in terms of his podcast and who he is and his politics and whatever, but this is definitely worth a listen, no matter on what side of the aisle you sit on. Like, just go hear what this guy has to say.
Well, if he's subjecting himself to that, then obviously he feels strongly that his method is more effective.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, for sure. No, without a doubt. Cool, man. So let's jump into the episode here. So one of the big things to drop this past week was the teaser video for the new Batsuit and the new, I don't know whether it's going to be a theme song, but the new score from Michael Giacchino. For the Batman movie that Matt Reeves is doing, the one that we've all been kind of, you know, looking forward to and talking about, and, you know, this whole new take on the Dark Knight and, you know, more of like a kind of a detective kind of noir thing, which I think is really exciting. So I want to talk about this new Batsuit. What do you guys think of this new Batsuit?
Not a huge fan.
What's standing out?
The gun emblem on it, like the piece of the gun. I don't know.
We don't know that's a piece. Like, we don't know that's a gun yet, though, right?
It
No,
looks
but
like
it really
guns.
does look a bit though.
Looks like a handle of a gun.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was like, okay, so I've always liked metal on superheroes, especially like ones that can look like, you know, like ultralight carbon fiber, like actually practical shit.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, it was like rubber or even worse, like cloth. Like if you go back even further, I like the way it looks, but for this, it just feels like they're trying to stand out. I mean, not necessarily a bad thing, but they're just trying to be as idiosyncratic from every other Batman. Like they're trying to be different from all the other Batmans, which like not necessarily a bad thing, but it's like, you know, it's just weird for me in general that we get like a small reveal and everybody goes crazy and we do a podcast on it. And it's like what a world we live in. It's like, oh, here's a 10-second video and everyone loses their shit and has opinions and stuff. But it does promise a lot of good things. I love that the entire thing was in black and white. It's very like old school.
No, the original one's
comics.
red. The one that Matt Reeves dropped was like blood red, right?
The one
and then
I saw
somebody
was
took it
and
then treated it to be black and white.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Well, I like that one better.
Yeah.
I like the collar, but yeah, I agree with Geoff. Like the symbol itself.
It needs to be more solid, honestly. It's a symbol. It looks kind of janky and kind of just like messed up put together. It doesn't show off anything.
I wondered if it was more like symbolic rather than something he's going to pull out and use. Like, I thought it was kind of just like
in the Detective Comics, it is symbolic.
Detective Comics 1000, yeah.
It's the gun that killed his parents.
Yeah.
Which he takes apart and he molds it into that.
Into a chest plate.
Yeah. So
yeah, but
like,
in the comics,
it's like wearing a piece of
square.
jewelry or something, right?
Yeah, in the comics, it's square. It doesn't really have that iconic kind of shape to it,
yeah,
right?
My only issue with the way it is now is it looks like it's gonna get caught on something as he's fighting, or someone's like gonna latch onto it and like pull him in.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem like a good thing to have on your chest in a fight.
Yeah.
Okay, my first reaction was, where's the head? Where are the ears of the bat?
Yeah.
Like, where is that iconic that head, right? Like a bat symbol. The bat symbol has to have some shape to it where it shows the head and it shows the ears of the bat, right?
The cowl ears need to be at least 2 inches. None of this short stuff.
But you're talking about the cowl. I'm talking about the actual the chest plate, the insignia.
Yeah,
yeah. But yeah,
it's almost reminiscent of like
we can get into the
Nightwing.
cowl.
Yeah.
Sorry?
It's almost reminiscent of like Nightwing.
It is a little
Okay,
reminiscent of
this-
Nightwing. Yeah, it is a little reminiscent of Nightwing. Very inspired by Daredevil, I thought too. Like it's a very like it's kind of like a street tactical kind of like armor kind of suit.
Right.
Yeah,
Maybe closer to what we've seen in like Arkham Asylum games or the Arkham series games, the Arkham franchise.
Yeah.
A lot closer to that.
Which I've always loved more than the rest because it actually seems like it's not just a costume and it's this tool. It's this like battle armar.
Yeah.
That he
Yeah.
has on. You know what I mean?
I did like the overall like vibe of the video. It kind of felt dark and like
It's dark as fuck.
smoky.
It's dark as fuck.
Yeah.
Can I just say, finally, we're putting that dude's jawline to good use and not just making teenage girls swoon. Like, finally, his jawline is like perfect for this role. In my opinion,
I love how
He's a
everybody.
good.
I love how
he's a
everybody
good
talks
Batman.
about his jawline. I
Wow.
love
Well,
that.
like this is
I
what he's
love
made
that.
for.
It's a very defined jawline.
Yeah.
You know what I noticed?
It's funny because I didn't notice that. This is not something I don't notice. Like I don't know, his head looks small for his body or something.
For me,
in
he
the
looked
suit.
like Conroy's like animated series Batman, like a younger version. But like the animated series, he's like square ass face.
Nobody has a
Yeah.
jaw like that though.
Yeah, well, he does. There you go.
You think so? I don't know. But
It's not as long. But
right. I was watching Batman and Superman this weekend too, Batman v Superman on the weekend. Do you notice that Ben Affleck and fucking Henry Cavill both have dimpled chins? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't notice that.
that's crazy.
Why?
That's crazy because that's something that's so iconic to Superman and to Batman is that fucking dimpled chin, right?
Oh.
And it's
Well,
kind
I'm
of
sure
funny
they were
that they
like
both
looking
have it
for it
as
when
far as the
casting
actors.
it.
Yeah, but they haven't had it in the past. Well, Michael Keaton kind of has it a little
Yeah,
bit, but
it's something you would probably look for if you're trying to.
I don't think
cast a
Clooney
role.
has one. I don't think Kilmer has
No.
one.
Clooney. He never played Batman.
Oh right, I
It's
forgot.
there's a
I forgot.
static when you
forgot.
mention those two.
That was an
words
alternate
together.
universe where they make shitty movies and put nipples on superheroes. Totally forgot about that. But yeah, okay. The other thing I want to talk about is the cowl looks to be separate from the rest of the suit,
Yeah.
which is something I've always kind of like been a fan of, because there's that line that Bale kind of drops, like I need to be able to turn my head, like he kind of makes
Yeah.
fun of
Oh, yeah,
himself and his costumer by saying, because like in the first Batman Begins, it was like one piece. and he
All of
couldn't-
them.
And
Yeah.
you couldn't move at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he couldn't
I
move
love
at
that
all.
line. That was so famous.
Yeah.
It also looks like it's leather too. It doesn't look like tactical armor. Like it doesn't look like the bat mask that we saw in the Dark Knight, where it was some sort of tactical armor, right? Like there's something to it. Like it because you can see the stitching in the nose. You can actually see stitching marks in the nose.
Oh.
Now I don't know whether just it was a test costume or whatever. It could be 100%, right? But then there's also this thing around, like there's almost like a collar around
I love
his
the
neck.
collar. Collar's
What?
cool as hell.
But does it make any sense?
Fuck, makes sense.
Shouldn't Batman's suit go from his neck down to his cape without the collar? Because the collar's pretty high. It's like this.
Yeah,
Like it's at least an inch high.
but it looks cool.
You think so?
I think it looks
I
cool.
think it looks
Pop
cool.
color
I
Batman.
agree. I agree that
Douchebag Batman. This is Twilight we're talking
you
about.
probably want to be able to turn your head more when you're like in
Yeah.
a fight. You don't want things
It's
getting
more
in the way of
protected
that.
now.
But
Yeah.
It gets cold
yeah, on the
those-
other
those
hand, your
nights.
neck is protected. You're not going to get stabbed
Yeah.
in the jugular.
True,
so.
True. The other thing
He's
I
a
want to talk
detective, man. Like
He
he
is.
needs to look like a detective somehow.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah, he needs a pop
fucking
collar.
trench.
You can't have the trench coat, so he pops the bat suit.
Yeah.
And did you guys notice he like, I don't know whether they told him to shift his shoulders when when they were coming around him with the camera, but he shifted his shoulders and you could see the shoulder plate kind of like
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
So it's definitely well put together as far as like armoring. Like
yeah, it
he's-
looks like
he's-
armor. I did
he's
like
gonna
that.
be-
That's pretty
He's
cool.
gonna be a fucking beast on the streets for sure.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be cool. The cowl, ears high enough for everybody.
I think so. It feels like it. I don't know.
It's a little small, isn't it?
The ears?
Is it?
But
I,
I
don't
mean, like,
know.
Bent Man's ears were like tiny.
This is like
That's true.
deep analysis, guys.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what
That's
you
what I'm
do.
saying.
they're
It's
not.
like-
They're not real ears. If they're too big, your enemy can like grab a hold of it and like
But
use
they
it
need
as
to be tall enough
leverage.
for aerodynamics when he jumps
Yeah,
off buildings.
yeah.
And to scare
But you
people.
don't want the bad guys like being able to grab your head and pull it into them either. Come on, Chris, you know
Okay,
this.
okay.
You're a
Okay.
fighter.
Okay, how about this?
They should be little so
Favorite-
your hands slip off.
Favorite bat suit so far?
Oh,
Chris.
Bale. Christian Bale.
Okay.
For sure.
Geoff.
Ben Affleck's.
Kristina.
Wait. Let's clarify. Ben Affleck exoskeleton?
No.
Oh,
Regular
okay.
suit.
Okay.
Kristina.
I'm gonna go with Tim Burton's Batman, which is I forget who played him. but-
Michael Keaton.
You're all crazy. Only my Batman can fly. Okay, so mine's obviously the best.
Okay, Affleck. 100% Affleck.
Affleck. Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like about Affleck's suit was the bat insignia. It was too close to Batman Returns, which
Why is
made
that a
me
bad thing?
And I feel
because
like-
he made me think of him as old and like grizzled and
That's what he's
fat.
supposed
that's
to
what he's
be.
supposed
Yeah,
to be, though.
but he
He's
was
like-
fucking. He was a jacked fucking. You know,
Yeah,
like,
well, if we had an old grizzled Batman facing a young Superman in his prime, that would also.
but that's what happened in the comics too, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, well,
Yeah, but he like
Superman
cheated,
doesn't age.
cheated
so.
the fuck out of.
Right. Okay, so before we move on from this, is there a chance that chest plate is just there as they kind of as it's been in the story for Detective Comics 1000, where it is like a protective piece, and there's going to be a bigger bat symbol over that? Because it does sink back into his chest a bit, where he could put the yellow bat symbol,
Yeah.
right?
I don't think they'll do that.
Yeah, well, yeah. If it's if it's the gun that killed his parents, I don't see why he would cover it. You know what I mean? Like, if
Because they
that's-
haven't showed the bat symbol for this movie yet,
I guess not. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So maybe,
I honestly think it's them trying to be different,
yeah.
which is not necessarily a bad thing. Like I said,
It's
Right.
not, but fix it. It looks like belt
it
buckles.
looks like
and,
yeah.
it's weird.
It looks
It should be
makeshift.
smooth. I
Yeah.
agree. It should at least look like it's
Yeah.
meant to be there. And even if they were, I don't know,
Yeah,
if
but-
it was gonna be part of my suit, I would put resin over it so it's flat, so it's not
Yeah.
something someone can.
No
like...
one can grab the freaking. If someone grabs that thing and does something with it, the Batman sucks.
Yeah, but you don't want to get caught. You don't want to get caught on things either. If it's just like
Imagine
if it's like this
Batman
hole
walking
in your
through an alley and he
chest,
just
yeah,
gets caught on
you're
an
gonna
alley.
get caught on something.
No. So, but like
You
Geoff,
like unravel someone's sweater with your insignia.
that's how he beats Catwoman.
Wrong-
It's just
It's
like
the wrong Bat movie.
yeah, man. That's like
And the
that's like a Pornhub
Catwoman
Bat
goes
movie.
chasing the yarn from the sweater.
That's so funny. So, but Geoff, can't
Uh.
you like see them thinking that it's cool? You know what I mean? Like they like this. Somebody definitely did this and went, "Oh, this looks cool, doesn't it?"
100%.
Like, yeah,
but honestly,
so-
I feel like they could have done it better. It
Yeah,
just-
yeah.
it looks
Oh.
really janky right now.
Right.
Matt Reeves is a filmmaker where he does like to stylize his own thing, his own things, right? And stylize his world and kind of have his own iconic kind
Yeah.
of touch on things, right? So I'm not surprised if this was just like his way to kind of differentiate himself from
Yeah.
the other Batman filmmakers, right? But I think he's already done that by kind of saying this is going to be a detective story. Like if I see Batman doing detective work, I'm going to be fucking happy. Like I mean like real detective work,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like we get to see the Bat computer like analyzing shit. Like that'll be dope. Like I'm really excited for that shit. I just hope they don't call it the Bat computer. That was like one of the worst things ever. But But yeah.
I think we're beyond that. We're beyond calling computers computers. We give them names now.
true.
So,
I think so.
you know, like Alexa and
Just
Siri.
Call it Oracle.
Oh, and
For
call it
fan's sake.
Oracle.
Yeah.
Nice.
That'd be dope.
That'd be good fan service.
Yeah.
What do we think of the score that Michael Giancano put together?
Too hard to tell.
Yeah, like
It's
it's
Too early.
It's too short. I can't.
too
I don't
early.
What was
know.
it, like 11 seconds, 14 seconds?
It's so much
Yeah.
different from like Zimmer or like any of the other stuff we've gotten, Danny Elfman or
Right.
whatever. Very, very different.
Yeah.
Very
I thought-
different.
I like
It's
the
haunting.
vibe.
It's kind of haunting.
Yeah, I
I
kind of
like
like
it.
the vibe of
Yeah.
the scene, so I
Yeah.
think it went along with it.
Okay. Well, there's more stuff in the Bat Camp to talk about.
Bat Cave.
The Bat Camp.
Bat Cave is better.
Okay, Bat Family. How about that? Sure. All right. So behind the scenes footage has got released too, and it's like this mugging scene that goes down in a park
Yeah.
outside a church or something, or like in a no, I think it's a park. I think the church is another image, and these guys have like black and white face paint. One has like iconic crosses on their iconography on their heads, like crosses and shit. And then there's guys with like blacked out eyes. They kind of look like the dudes from one of those horror movies. The I was with the Devil's Rejects or something like that. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm calling back to. And we've all been speculating the timeline in which this movie happens, but I think we got our first telltale sign that this is happening in the modern day.
Yeah.
The guy's filming the fight on his cell phone. So like clearly it's happening in a more modern time, which makes me think that this film could be connected or another start to the DCEU, because Affleck was older Batman, right? And they're not using him anymore, and they couldn't continue the DCEU and then have Batman only live a couple more years and then, die or retire.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're kind of downplaying the fact that this is actually a potential reboot for the DCEU. Maybe this is the Batman that does stay within the DC universe.
Right.
What do you guys think?
Maybe. It seems like if that's the case, they kind of retconned his backstory. Like, do you think the mugging is going to be replacing...
No, nothing will ever replace the
Oh,
mugging.
okay.
Nothing will ever replace the mugging.
Okay.
Nothing. Nothing.
But it's weird
No.
if it takes place in the DCU.
Yeah,
Then,
I feel like...
did Justice League not happen?
Yeah. Like, he's in 3 movies, really.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I know, but Justice League in a way didn't happen already, right? Because they are trying to reboot things. Granted,
'Cause-
Shazam
But then-
touches on a lot of things from Batman v Superman and from Justice League, but Shazam is a part of the DC film universe,
But
right?
then Wonder Woman as well. Like,
Yeah.
wouldn't it have to change
I hear ya.
everything? So it'd be weird that, I don't know. It's
I
hard to
hear
say.
you, man.
Do we
I
think
hear you,
he's...
but they're also doing Flashpoint.
So he's
Yeah.
already
Right?
Batman, and he just he gets mugged as Batman, or...
No. It's not like, I don't think that's Batman. I think that the person who was looking at these photos and looking at these videos assumed it was Bruce Wayne.
Oh, okay.
I think it was just an extra.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought
Yeah.
they already said that this is not going to be like an origin at all. This is
Okay,
like
he's
he's
already
developed.
Batman.
Yeah, he's developed.
Yeah, he's already
It's-
Batman, and he's
Yeah.
solving crimes already.
Yeah, it's second
okay.
year. It's supposed to be a
Okay.
second year as
Because-
Yeah,
Batman.
yeah.
You
that
don't
makes more
need
sense.
more origin. I think
Yeah.
we get
Yeah.
it. We know how it
Yeah.
happens.
That's better.
Yeah.
I don't need to see Thomas Wayne die again.
Yeah, but we will. We might get to see, like, 10,
There'll
15
probably
seconds.
be a flashback, like he always does.
If you're if you're if you're a DOP or you're, an accomplished cinematographer, that's a good scene to kind of be able to work with, right? To kind of get a more creative shot. And I think Zack Snyder's guy did the best job on Batman v Superman as far as the shots that he designed for that.
Yeah.
With the pearl necklace being tied around the hammer or the slide of the gun.
Mhm.
And when the slide kicked back, it knocked those exploded those pearls. That was one of the best shots I've ever seen in a superhero film.
Yeah, that
without
was
a
pretty
doubt.
cool. I actually
Right?
did like that. Yeah.
So like, I wouldn't I wouldn't have a problem with anybody trying to redo that scene again, as long as it was creative and inventive.
I don't
want
to see that scene again.
It'll
I'm
happen.
so tired of that.
It's gonna
scene.
happen at one point. It's gonna happen at one point. But yeah. So more Batman stuff, especially like this film specifically. It looks like Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz have been training regularly together, like training. Now, what this brings me to is what we got with the Catwoman character and the Batman character in the Arkham games, where they would kind of fight in tandem, where they had like tandem fight moves and they kind of work together and whatever. So is there a chance that Zoe Kravitz's character, Catwoman, is going to be on the side or some sort of neutral good in this story?
Always neutral.
I think that's the only way to write a Catwoman
Yeah, me
character
too.
inside of
Yeah.
Bat. Like, there's
Yeah.
no way they're not working together, and there's no way
She's
that
not
the-
going to betray him.
they're
At some
not gonna
point,
betray.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like she's his weakness, and she'll always be his weakness, except for Talia al Ghul. She's a bigger weakness, whatever. But like besides her, like Catwoman will always be like the one that can like get to Batman's weaknesses, which is like get him to lower his guard and like
Right.
and compromise his like whatever his morals or. So yeah, she's definitely gonna like play both sides of the fence, and she has to, because that would be a really boring Catwoman if she
Oh,
doesn't.
for sure.
So there'll be a lot. So you think there'll be a lot of screen time between Zoe Kravitz and Robert Pattinson as far
Together,
as
yeah.
yeah. Okay. Now, what about this whole thing about training together? Like, do you guys think this is for these kind of over stylized fight scenes
Yeah.
Probably
in combat? Yeah.
They're definitely they're gonna fight together,
Yeah.
100%, which they always
Yeah.
do. But it's always for her sort of like her own gain, right? She never does anything that helps anybody
Except for her, yeah.
except
Sure.
for her own self.
Yeah.
She's a
Sure.
selfish person. But I mean, deep down, it also feels like she does care for him. But obviously, she looks out for number one first.
She's got a heart, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, we meet her in Dark Knight Rises. She's looking out for that other girl too, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a like a
I
genuine.
feel-
That's more of just like she doesn't like other females getting pushed around because I guess she was as well.
Yeah.
So it's more of standing up for like the little guy.
Right. Sorry, Christina.
Yeah, I was gonna say something like that. It's more like she's more so selfish, but then if she sees something, she doesn't want to see someone get picked on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I'm happy they do this because it's like there's like on-screen chemistry, but there's also like body chemistry. Like,
Yeah, I
like
was
if
gonna
they-
say that's
if
probably
they're
why they
in
have to train
sync-
together.
Yeah, if they're in sync with their action scenes.
'Cause they have to make
it-
it sexy.
Like I definitely like nitpick fight scenes, like the good ones anyways, and you could tell when there's no chemistry between two fighters, and yeah.
Gotcha. What would you say your favorite Batman fight scene is, Chris? Out of all the
fight
Batman
scene.
movies.
Batman fight scene. I don't know. Like Batman v. I guess no.
Yeah.
That's
The warehouse.
the warehouse is pretty good.
Oh, warehouse is so good.
Man, Bale versus Bane the first time when he breaks him.
When it breaks him. Yeah, that's pretty good. You guys go. I hate these things without giving me some time.
Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, the Bane scene from the Dark Knight.
That's your favorite?
Yeah, probably, definitely.
Yeah.
I actually always do like it when there's a Catwoman fight scene. So yeah,
Okay.
I kind of like that.
So when they were fighting together?
When they're kind of like adversarial, I like the tension between Batman and Catwoman
Okay.
and the chemistry between them.
I mean, can we do like animated universe? Because Under the Red Hood has the best
Whoa.
goddamn fight scene ever.
That's pretty good.
Like
The chase scene through the city, too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's
Robin
pretty dope.
versus Batman. But I guess in
Pretty
the
dope.
movie universe, just Batman taking out all those people in Dark Knight, where like all of Joker's men, and he has to stop the SWAT team from like killing all these people that the Joker set up as the bad guys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So he has to
that-
take out the SWAT teams without them killing a single like civilian, and without killing a single one of them. And
Right.
I
True.
thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that was very intricate. It was really cool.
Mine's got to be the warehouse scene in Batman v Superman. It's so Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight. Like, it's literally almost all the moves in the video games I've ever done. Like, he uses the back claw, he uses his the electric disruptor. Like, he uses everything but the fucking freeze grenade. Like, it's so fucking dope.
Mhm.
Love that scene. So well stylized. And I love when the guy shoots him in the back of the head and you see the cowl actually work for the first time.
Yeah.
That was pretty sick.
Yeah.
Because it's bulletproof and he doesn't suffer any injury from it. Well, he probably has a fucking really bad headache. But yeah, really fucking cool scene. I really, really love that one. That one's really
I really
dope.
liked Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. I thought she did a good
Anne
job.
Hathaway's a great
Yeah.
Catwoman. Anne Hathaway was a great Catwoman. I love how they didn't make the ears kind of like
The ears were
like
the coolest part.
the
of
way that they
Armor.
Oh,
did
yeah, the
it. The
goggles.
way they
Yeah.
did it with the
Really cool.
goggles was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Because like
And
it
she
wasn't
had like
as
a cool
corny.
fighting style too. It
Yeah.
looked like she learned how to fight. Like I thought that was kind of cool.
yeah, it wasn't corny. Like it was good. Like it wasn't like paper ears on her or anything like that. It was really well done. Yeah, for sure. So next, we've never touched on this universe once yet, but it's a pretty exciting announcement, and it's more motivated by, I guess, the cast that they just announced, really. Because I wasn't expecting this. I don't think anybody's expecting to have a voice cast this
Vast,
talented
yeah, it's
and this
crazy.
vast.
Yeah.
But Netflix has announced their voice cast for Masters of the Universe Revelation, which is going to be an anime animated series from
It's like-
Kevin Smith.
Yeah. Castlevania meets anime kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the same guys that did Castlevania. It's the Powerhouse guys,
Yeah.
right? And Kevin Smith is the show director, and he's got a bunch of people from Supergirl who are writing on it, and he's got his pal Mark Bernardin. He's also a writer on it. I like Kevin Smith, and I do like Mark Bernardin. Whenever I listen to their podcast, Mark's always kind of taking the time. Whenever they're reviewing a movie, Mark always kind of gives his own version of how you would do it.
Mhm.
And I always want to see Mark's movie. I'm just like, I want to see Mark's movie. Don't really care about this movie. I want to go see Mark's movie. He's a really thoughtful, creative guy. Like he really knows what works in terms of story and what works in terms of character development. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens with this. So the show's being produced by Mattel Toys. They're going to be like basically running it with Kevin Smith and Netflix. So the fans are really happy about that because apparently DreamWorks took over She-Ra and fucked it all up.
Yeah, I heard that.
People weren't that excited
Yeah,
about
I
She-Ra. Did I just say She-Ra? Sorry, She-Ra. But yeah, So the fans are really excited that Mattel is going to be running this. And again, the animation's being done by Powerhouse, so people are really stoked about that. However, there's another part of the fan base that thinks that the main protagonist looks to be Teela and not He-Man in the story. Something about the Sword of Power has gone missing in the story, and Teela is going to be the one that's kind of hunting for it. And if you know much about He-Man, Prince Adam can't be He-Man without the sword. So he's not really He-Man, he's Prince Adam. So a lot of fans are worried about the fact that, you know, the woke culture is kind of pushed He-Man into the back of this story, and Teela will be kind of the front runner in terms of the story. So
we'll have to see.
But then even if they do that, won't he be the main character in season 2 or something? Like, you would think that that's what happens. Like, if she helps him get his sword, then either later in season 1 or in season 2, he'll be He-Man.
I get that, but you don't continue on a universe where the main character was one person and then continue it on with the new character.
It worked really well in Sandman. So in the beginning of Neil Gaiman's Sandman in the comic books, like in the original,
I haven't read this yet, but
he kind of like lost his kingdom, and he has to like go to the devil's kingdom and like find his tools to like become the god that he is, and because he's been like banished for 1,000 years.
Okay.
And he has to like reclaim his kingdom of dreams. It's been like somebody has been like the interim god of the kingdom of dreams in the meantime. So he's kind of powerless and just has to go on this quest to get the tools to become a god again. And
but does he have to give up? Does he have to give up?
No. But like
I
the
just
front
think
of the
it could be
screen
cool.
to somebody else? Does
no, but like
okay.
I think it could work. Like people help. He has characters that like help him to.
It could work. It could work, but doesn't this sound to you like the same thing that's happening in every other franchise
well, we don't
property?
know. I just think you're like jumping the gun.
No, I'm not jumping the gun.
Know.
It literally says Teela will be leading the story. Like
I thought people were saying.
I thought that was a
might
rumor.
happen.
Yeah.
No. The synopsis here. The synopsis says, a radical return to Eternia. Revelations is a direct sequel series to the classic era of Masters of the Universe, featuring fan favorites He-Man, Orko, Cringer, and Man-at-Arms. The story pits our heroic warriors and guardians of Castle Grayskull against Skeletor, Evil Lyn, Beastman, and the vile legions of Snake Mountain. But after a ferocious final battle forever fractures Eternia, it's up to Teela to solve the mystery of the missing Sword of Power in a race against time to prevent the end of the universe. Her journey will uncover the secrets of Grayskull at last. This is the epic He-Man and the Masters of the Universe saga fans have waited 35 years to see. One thing I love about the synopsis is they talk about Teela, and then they end it with, this is the epic He-Man and the Masters of the Universe saga.
Yeah.
Fans have waited 35 years
But
to
that's
see.
what I mean. So to me, it doesn't read like they're taking everything away from He-Man. I don't know. I think like
It doesn't sound like a He-Man story to me.
It's up to this character. Does kind of sound like. Well, we'll have to see.
It depends on how they do it. It depends on if she's
it
just
does
like an
depend.
arc in the story or if she takes over the whole thing.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
the dedicated Masters of the Universe fans, and there's a lot of them actually, have done the research. They actually have their own trade show. It's called PowerCon.
Okay.
And I didn't know this, but apparently Masters of the Universe is a fucking huge thing. And they brought them into the DC universe recently too, so they are a DC property, I think. Geoff, have you read any of the comics for Masters of the Universe?
No, unfortunately, I haven't.
And just know
Okay.
my friend Heather's a huge She-Ra fan, and she always dresses up as She-Ra for Halloween.
Is she She-Ra before DreamWorks or She-Ra
I
during
don't know.
DreamWorks?
I don't know. She just
Because
has
She-Ra
the
with
costume.
DreamWorks was completely...
No, she's
No, the old
she's
one.
old school.
No,
Had
yeah,
nothing to
Heather
do.
would be is the original. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
definitely the original. She watched the series growing up as a kid. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It would be really weird to just like have a side character to like take over this like rebooted universe. Not a side. I guess she was never really a side character, but like, it's a He-Man. Like it's a He-Man show. You know what I mean?
It is a He-Man
little-
show, dude.
It's a little weird. Like, all I'm saying is that like, give it a chance. Like, if it's what you're fearing, the show's not gonna do well, and that's like, what can you do? What can any of us do? But like there is a way to write it if it's interesting enough this way. But yeah, like you definitely have some like not unfounded fears, right? Like
I think it's okay if a co-star has like a quest that helps you to like.
okay, but is it okay if the main character of a universe when it gets rebooted gets
Well-
pushed to the
well,
sidelines
no.
for a different character?
No, but what I'm saying is we don't know for sure if that's how it's
Right,
going
right.
to
So
go.
hypothetically,
yeah,
in a thought experiment.
hypothetically, if it's a quest, it could work. or a story arc within the larger story.
Right.
Then it
So
could
there,
work.
there's that hypothetical. What about this hypothetical? If they pushed He-Man to a side character and promoted a different character for his thing,
Yeah, that's weird. They should have just
Yeah,
called
okay.
the show.
But that's been done
yeah,
before.
then they
Yeah.
should just call the show what it is, and like the show should be named after that character.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody feel the way that I do? I feel like this is metaphorical castration for
But
this
if they
character.
are they calling? But they're
It's a
calling
little
the show.
extreme.
No,
They're
come on,
calling
seriously,
the show
think about it.
the Masters of the Universe,
Yeah.
though, which is named after the
No.
team.
No, they're
not
calling
calling
it
it
true.
He-Man.
True, they are, and they're calling it Revelation, and that
Yeah.
doesn't make it any better. But my point is, I'm not saying that the metaphorical castration is him being pushed to the side.
okay,
It's him not having his sword and him being just as Prince Adam.
yeah,
He can't be He-Man
Yeah.
But I'm just
without
saying,
his
like,
sword. So
even
isn't
if-
it
It's pretty
metaphorical?
useless.
Yeah, isn't
Yeah.
it metaphorical castration?
Yeah.
But
At
they're
this point?
introducing
Yeah.
us to the team. Nobody says that you have to be
Yeah.
introduced to the leader first. You can meet
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
leader
Like,
of the team later
you're
in the
right.
game, and he could work up to the point where he leads the team.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying that
But
this
the
girl is gonna
franchise,
like lead
but
the
the
team.
franchise and the fan base is centered around
Yeah.
Prince Adam and He-Man,
and
not
I'm saying
Tila.
they'll probably get there.
I mean, like, yeah, if there was a quest to get his sword, whatever, that could be interesting because, like, it's kind of like an origin story in
Yeah,
a way,
yeah.
like a new origin story.
Exactly.
But like, yeah, like this is why I don't like arguing about things that haven't happened yet because we're all fearing the worst and like we don't know.
Good
Like,
point.
like let it happen first.
Good
I'll
point.
watch it.
Mhm.
It's something I'll
Oh,
watch.
I'm gonna watch it for
I've
sure.
heard a lot about it.
I'm gonna watch it for sure. And apparently, they did a series in 2002 or 2004. It was an animated one again. It was a lot more kind of adult and a little bit more complex. I'm gonna go back and watch it and see what it's like. Because I don't know, guys with swords in space in medieval settings, it just kind of
It
I don't
does
know.
something
it's kind
for
of
you.
crazy.
Like
Magical.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It is magical. It is whimsical. So the high side of all this is the voice cast. I think the voice cast is fucking unbelievable.
Insane.
So I want to start with the one that stands out the most for me, and this is probably the greatest voice actor of our generation, Mark Hamill.
Mm.
Okay, the guy that
Mhm.
played the Joker, he's playing Skeletor, which I think is fucking phenomenal, and I can't wait to see what voice he puts on Skeletor.
Hopefully
Like-
not the Joker.
Hopefully, it's-
I hope it doesn't sound anything like the Joker.
you know what's funny is Kevin Conroy is playing Merman,
Yeah,
and I would flip them. I would flip them and make Kevin Conroy
Nah,
Skeletor. I don't know, like
he's too deep. Skeletor is kind of whiny.
like
and,
whiny.
He is
Yeah,
kinda
I
whiny,
guess
yeah.
so. But I never
Yeah.
liked that about him though. Like I wanted him to be the Kevin Conroy voice, because like when you look at him, like I've always found that even when I was a child, you
Mhm.
look at him, he seems like somebody that would have Kevin Conroy's voice, but he doesn't. Like yeah, I guess it's truer to the original. But anyways,
okay. And the other one that stands out to me is fucking Stephen Root is playing Cringer, the cat.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Dude, Stephen Root's fucking a phenomenal actor. Like he just finished Man in the High Castle. Like he does real shit. Like he was in Office Space. He was in King of the Hill. Like he does real shit. And he's a fantastic actor. Boys,
Office Space,
both-
so funny.
oh, he's great.
love that
He's great in
I love
Office
that
Space.
movie.
He's great in Office Space. But he's great in whatever he does, and he's playing a talking cat.
I think
Like
that could be
that's
cool.
pretty rad. I think
Yeah.
that's really cool that he could like, kind of have that humility to do something like that. So I'm really excited to see that. The other one that jumps out at me is Liam Cunningham, Sir Davos
He's got a
from
great voice.
Game of Thrones.
So-
He's
so-
gonna be Man at Arms. Perfect casting,
yeah,
if you ask
100%.
me.
Yeah, I think so too.
Perfect casting.
What about the fact that they casted Sarah Michelle Gellar as Tila?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Can't wait for Buffy.
Yeah, no,
Everyone's like high school crush is now this like
Mm.
I don't know.
I think Sarah Michelle
supposedly
Gellar
main
has got a great
character.
voice for voice acting.
Not everybody's high school crush, Alicia Silverstone, which is
Oh.
also here. Is
Yeah,
my
Alicia
high school
Silverstone,
crush.
yeah.
So many people's high school
Yeah.
crush was Sarah Michelle Gellar, though. I remember people talking about her.
Yeah, and then the next one that jumps out, Lena Headey is playing Evil Lynn, and she was Cersei in
Fitting.
Game of Thrones.
I think that's fitting.
it's perfectly
Yeah.
fitting.
Yeah.
I think it's perfectly fitting. I think that voice is gonna just it's gonna terrify you. It's gonna make your fucking balls shrivel up. It's gonna be great. Henry Rollins is in this too. That's crazy. Henry Rollins, Alicia Silverstone, Kevin Smith's daughter's in this, Harley Quinn Smith.
Phil Lamar, huge voice actor.
Yeah, Phil Lamar. Yeah,
I
he's
love
been
that
in
he
everything.
named his daughter after
John
Harley Quinn.
John Stewart,
That's-
right?
Yep.
I did
Yep.
not know that.
John Stewart. Susan Eisenberg, huge voice actor. She did all the most of the Wonder Womans for the DC animated films.
Yep.
Justin Long.
Justin Long. I can't
Jason-
believe Justin Long's in this.
Yeah, no. Jason Mewes, his best friend.
Jason Mewes is in it. Yeah. This cast looks fucking awesome. I'm really looking forward just to seeing the first episode so I can hear the performances from these actresses.
It
From
even
these
looks
actors
like
and
they
actresses.
kind of know each other a lot in some
Oh,
of the
of course they do.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
of
like
course they do.
a lot of chemistry between the actors.
Like,
well, I'm pretty sure that Kevin Smith worked with most of these or all
Yeah.
of them at one point.
yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He's worked with Sarah Michelle Gellar. He's worked with Justin Long.
I feel
Jason
like that
Mewes.
happens a lot on Netflix shows. It's like kind of just smaller projects, and they
No,
bring
it
their
happens on
friends
Kevin Smith
On
projects.
Kevin Smith projects, yeah. And
Yeah.
his daughter's in everything he does.
Yeah, now.
That's
yeah.
cute.
Literally now. Yeah, no, for sure. And then the other thing is kind of weird. They just scrapped the Masters of the Universe movie. Like that just got scrapped.
Well, I feel like you can't do both. It has to be one.
No,
or
I
the
think you
other.
can do both.
Definitely do both.
I can
but-
definitely think you can do both. But yeah, that got scrapped. So now we have this, and I think there's another Netflix Marvels of the
Maybe
Masters
maybe
of the
the
Universe.
plot of their
I think there's
movie-
one for Revelation. I think there's another one for another one.
Yeah.
Maybe the
Yeah.
script for that wasn't
I don't
as
know.
good as the scripts for this. And then
Maybe.
they were like, we can't compete with that.
Maybe
Was the movie live action or was it
live
sorry,
action.
Live
It's
action.
gonna be another live action. Did you see the live action one from the 80s?
Yeah,
What did you think of the live action one from the 80s?
I never saw it.
Never saw it.
that doesn't hold up.
Skeletor looked dope as shit,
He
though,
did.
man.
The costuming was really cool, but definitely doesn't hold up.
No,
Doesn't stand the test. of
no.
time.
The story made no fucking sense. Dolph Lundgren was amazing as He-Man. Skeletor was fucking phenomenal. So the costuming was really good for sure. The special effects weren't bad. Courtney Cox was in it of all people.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was kind of crazy.
but she was popular at the time.
It was a
She
good
had to
movie
be
if
in
you were a
that.
kid and you didn't know what a good movie was. Like you just wanted to see your favorite characters kind of come to life on screen, right? It was good that way.
So kind of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
In a way.
Or the Super Mario Brothers.
Mortal Kombat.
I never saw that. I never
Street
saw
Fighter.
It.
Oh man, the
was one of those.
Super
Street
Mario
Fighter was
Brothers
okay.
one is
Street
like
Fighter was
trippy.
okay.
Great live action.
If
movie.
you
I
watch
love
Super
Street
Mario
Fighter.
Brothers, it's just like super trippy.
It
It's like,
sucked.
what were these
That
people
was,
on?
That was the worst movie ever made.
That was an interesting movie.
Yeah, Street Fighter movie was actually kind of okay. Yeah,
I love Street
Yeah.
Fighter.
yeah, I didn't
Van
mind it.
Damme, man, so awesome.
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it. It
Not
was
the,
okay.
Not the Kristen Crick one though. That was
I can't believe they got Raul Julia
Oh, yeah.
to play Balrog. Like, how do you get Raul Julia, this like accomplished stage actor, to play fucking Balrog? Like that was crazy.
Everybody was making a fun movie and they all knew it. That's why.
yeah,
It's like, yeah, fans will love you.
crazy. Crazy.
I'll never forget when he was trying to like sink their submarine with his mines, and he was playing an arcade game to do it. If you remember that,
Yes, I saw
his
that.
fucking controls
Yeah,
first
I
thing was an
saw that.
arcade. I love it.
I saw that. I forgot. I totally fucking forgot about that. Yeah, that was
Classic.
interesting. So this actually takes us back right to our cold open. You know, we were talking about the 80th anniversary of the Green Lanterns, and exciting news coming out of the HBO Max whole Green Lantern live TV series. Looks like they're talking about doing the Sinestro War. How fucking crazy is that for your first project? Like,
it makes sense. Go all out.
do you know
Yeah.
how grand?
It sounds
do you know
cool.
how
They
grand
should've-
that
I
is?
liked
They
it.
should have fucking did that in the original like Ryan Reynolds movie. That's all I wanted in that
Dude.
movie.
Sinestro War is such a grand operation. It would
Yeah.
just it could bankrupt the fucking company. Like Justice League is in this. Well, if they do it right, if they do it to the comic book, the Justice League's in it. There's like the Anti-Monitor. There's Parallax. There's fucking like 220 lanterns die.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Sinestro War. Like I don't know if they could pull this off,
Do
man.
you-
This is
do you
nuts.
think
I don't think
that
they can do
it-
everything.
Do you think they're going to do the whole thing, or do you think they're just going to introduce us to the war and then continue the war in further movies?
It sounds
don't
like
know.
the war is like the whole show.
Yeah.
It's you know what? You
Yeah,
know
but
what?
like
it's
Okay,
not like
this-
they're doing Game of
This is
Thrones.
what I
Yeah.
don't. This is what I don't like about the DC movies.
What?
They do too much in one movie, and then you're just like, it's too long. There's too much action. You're just like, I don't know what the fuck is happening, and I just get lost.
And very occasionally, not enough.
Yeah,
AKA,
I just
AKA
hope.
original Green
I
Lantern.
just hope that the pacing is good, because that's the only thing I'm gonna be worried about.
Well,
if they try to tell the
it's a
whole
long
thing in one
form.
movie.
It's a no. It's gonna be a show, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna be a show.
It's a
So
show.
let's talk
So,
about.
okay.
So let's tell the listeners a little bit more about what happened with the Sinestro War if you missed it. By the way, if you haven't read it, go read it. It's one of the best DC runs ever. It's so good. So after Sinestro suffers defeat in Rebirth, he comes back, but he goes to the antimatter universe, and he goes to the planet Quard, and he hooks up with the antimatter and Parallax, and they basically form the Sinestro Corps. And the Sinestro Corps are yellow ring carriers, and the yellow spectrum is fear. So people use fear instead of willpower, and Sinestro goes around the galaxy assembling characters within the DC universe that are like villainous and ones that can instill fear. Batman even gets a call from a yellow ring at one point, which is fucking crazy. You see that panel?
Yeah.
That's so good.
So good.
It's like I don't know what they called him, Batman or Bruce Wayne, but they're like, you
think
can
it was
instill
Bruce
great
Wayne.
fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
It's like you have the power
I
to
like
instill great
that.
fear.
Yeah.
And he turned it down.
Yeah.
Um,
Not the first time he turned out a ring.
Not the first time. No, he's been the Green Lantern, that's for sure. So yeah, he basically puts together Sinestro Corps. They run roughshod all over the galaxy, killing lanterns, ambushing them. They kill about 220 lanterns. They attack Oa. They free Cyborg Superman, and they free Superman Prime. And so they got Superman Prime and fucking Cyborg Superman on their side. The fight goes to Earth, but before that, the Guardians of Oa update the Book of Oa to basically let the Green Lanterns kill people now. So they get the power to actually murder people. And this kind of takes the story in a whole new fucking direction. It's
That's
so
crazy.
fucking good, dude. So good.
Yeah, I've read some of the series of Green Lanterns, and I always like it as a comic, but I don't usually like it on screen. Like, so I
They
find
haven't done it
We haven't
justice
seen it
yet.
right on screen
Yeah.
yet. That's the problem.
So-
We haven't except for the animated universe.
yeah.
That's really the only place we've seen it done.
But I
right.
love it in the comics, and I love
Yeah.
how it has ties to so many other things. Like, it does tie. Booster Gold's my favorite. It ties into Booster Gold.
Yeah.
So-
So let's speculate a bit here. So the first thing I want to ask you guys is David Ramsey from the Arrowverse going to play Jon Stewart?
I hope so.
I think he'd be a great Jon Stewart.
I think so. They've teased it
Yeah.
for so long. Just give it to us.
We all want it. We all want it, and it's like,
I'm sure he wants it.
yeah, he wants it.
Yeah, I think David Ramsey should play Jon Stewart. I think he's earned it. And then obviously there's that nod to the Green Lanterns and the Crisis on Infinite Earths miniseries. And then also the series finale of Green Arrow, there was a hint that the ring potentially landed,
Crash landed in front of
yeah,
him.
in front of Diggle. So I don't know what's going to happen there. It didn't look like a ring to me. Like usually an
Well-
alien has to crash.
Yeah.
You know what
It
I
was
mean?
just a box with
It was
a
just a
glowing
box.
green light.
How does that work? Like,
It could
Did-
be a new ring that just went to him.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. But like,
No,
they don't usually have a
sometimes-
box though.
Sometimes they search out people.
But they don't
Remember,
usually have a box though.
No,
Oh,
the
yeah, I
box
guess
was a
not.
new thing, but that's probably because they didn't want to do anything saying he's Green Lantern.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
for TV.
Yeah.
And you know, because in stores, rings come in boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
It's
usually the
like
rings
a
keep
it's
people
like
out.
a proposal. Like, will you be
So
mine?
the stores need to sell the
you be
ring
my
and the
Green
box it
Lantern?
comes in.
Nice. Do you guys think we'll see the original GL core members that were in this particular story, Sinestro Corps? So Raynor. So it's Raynor and he's Ion in this. We have to talk about that. So it's Raynor, Gardner, Stewart, Jordan. Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah. it's those four. Are we gonna see all four of these Green Lanterns?
I really
I
hope so.
would
Yeah.
like that. That
Cool.
would be cool.
Yeah.
Kyle Rayner's my favorite Lantern.
They all
so-
exist.
I love Kyle Rayner.
They all exist, so why not? And like, they don't all have to be introduced at the same time either. It's a show, right? So it's gonna go on
Yeah,
for a while. So they're gonna meet each other probably.
I don't think they're gonna do all four, because one, I think if you bring in Kyle Rayner, the story gets way more complicated. Like he's Ion at this
But
point.
I feel like he has to be.
Yeah, but he'd have to. But like he's Ion when the core war starts.
Yeah.
Right.
When Parallax takes him.
When Ion. No, he's Ion
right,
first,
yeah,
and then
Parallax
Parallax.
takes him, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how they do this. Like,
But
do they
okay.
tell the Ion story off screen? Like some sort of exposition?
Maybe like it happened already.
Stuart and
I don't know
Jordan
about
can
that.
exist in the same time, right?
Yeah, they all can.
Yeah.
They all can.
Yeah, they all
Oh,
can.
okay.
Yeah, they all can.
They can rewrite around whatever, Frank. Like Kyle Rayner needs to be in it, but like you know how these things work. They're not gonna take every single detail because it would overwhelm us,
Yeah.
right? Even those of us who've read Sinestro Wars, they can rewrite certain things, like things that have already been established in the comic universe.
Yeah.
They have to like reestablish it, and there are examples of them like changing the timeline where they introduce something somewhere else in
Right.
that universe, and it
Yeah.
still works.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
right,
true.
Right. And it's a good way to separate villains too, so you don't oversaturate villains.
Yeah.
Because it's like this whole, like, you can take this arc and split the arc.
Right.
Because it's enough for TV, and then you could just introduce it somewhere else.
Right. Okay. The other thing I wanted to examine is I love the fact that the show is going to be on HBO Max, because that means that they can get into Titans level kind of
Yes.
like violence,
Yes, me too.
right? And if they do the Book of Oa thing where they do update the rules and they can actually use lethal force, that's going to make for some fucking sick shit, man.
Mhm.
It's going to make for some crazy stuff. Like emerald swords cutting guys' heads off and
Mhm.
shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that'll be dope.
I don't picture the show being dark in that way, though. I don't know.
They're cops.
Yeah, I know.
They're
That's
cops
what-
in
I'm kinda
wartime.
Yeah.
They're cops in wartime. Yeah. Like,
Maybe.
Like,
Like,
it's not probably not that dark in the sense that they're not tackling like those themes, but
Yeah.
they have no limitations.
I
so
picture
they don't
it-
have to do stupid
I
shit.
picture it like on the level of Watchmen or something, like that kind of darkness.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that could work. But with all the different factions, like if they introduce the other factions, like the other rings, I can see like a Game of Thrones thing going down too.
Mhm.
Do you think they will though? I kind of think that's a huge.
That's a
budget they would need.
massive.
Yeah.
That's a massive.
I think it's
massive
just going to
yeah,
be yellow and green.
undertaking. Yeah. Yeah. You think it's gonna be yellow and green
Yeah.
for now?
I think
Adding
they
the
might-
other
But
rings would be
There's
just way too
potential
much.
as
Yeah.
as it goes into more seasons. There's potential to like introduce those
Yeah.
things later.
Right.
Like,
I can
it's
take-
a good thing to not do everything at once.
I can take like one Blue Lantern, right, or like one like if Star Sapphire wants to be in it.
Yeah.
Like I would love to see Star
Yeah.
Sapphire. But yeah, not like any like I don't want to go through the Indigo like tribe, right? You know what I mean? Like it's not
Yeah.
it's just too much.
I want to see some cool aliens too, man. Like Saint Walker. I want to see Saint
Oh.
Walker
Yeah.
for sure.
I want some
And they have to
Red
do
Lanterns.
Mogo. They have to do Mogo.
Okay, guys. How
Oh,
okay, you in particular, Jeff. Who like would you guys flip out if they made like if they actually made a real Razor? If Razor makes a comeback, because he's only been in one. He's never been in the comics as far as I know.
Yeah, he's only been in the
Yeah, in the
animated Justice
animated
League.
Razor's a
universe.
good character.
Like
Razor's cool.
he's my
Yeah.
favorite character
He's
in
great.
Green Lantern. He's not even in the fucking comics.
He's
But
great.
if do you think he makes an appearance here, and would it work
I don't think he will because I don't think there's a huge basis for him. Like
Yeah.
for Red Lanterns in
Yeah.
general?
Red Lanterns in
Yeah.
general, but just because like the show didn't do too well, and how many people really know about him unless he really
Yeah,
seeked it out, right?
that's my fear. God damn
I would
it.
love to
Yeah.
because I thought he was in a great
I
character,
really
very
hope.
complex and everything. But like, yeah, I don't think he's.
By
gonna
the
make
way,
it.
I'd love to
fans-
see Atrocitus too, man. Like
Yeah.
Atrocitus would be amazing.
He's my favorite. My
Yeah,
favorite
Atrocitus would be
villain
dope.
in
but
Green
that'd be an
Lantern.
entire season of just like Reds.
Yep.
If you guys haven't seen the Green Lantern animated show,
Oh yeah,
you guys
watch
should
that
watch
show.
it. I love it.
Oh
Like
so much
the-
potential. It was leading
so-
to Blackest
so
Night, and I
good.
was gonna lose my mind.
yes. Yes.
Razor and like in what's her name? Aya.
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 Aya's
Like, I think
so
that was
good.
Yeah.
My favorite like
Aya's
love story
so good.
of all comics. I
Oh
think,
my
or
God.
maybe not all. But yeah,
Fucking
I
love that
that,
show.
yeah.
Love that show. So
So
good, dude.
give it a shot, guys.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And the
Bring it back.
animation's fantastic. It's
Yeah.
so good. The costumes are they're a little hokey, but
Mm.
yeah. I didn't really like the costume design. I like more the modern Green Lantern kind of look now, but
Mhm.
but yeah, no, it's it has tremendous potential, man. And honestly, you know, we're going to do an episode on this. We're going to do phase 4 versus DC's upcoming film slate, because I think there's going to be like, if there's a war, that's the real war to talk about, because it's going to get fucking crazy, dude. Like DC is bringing in all their heavy hitters and Marvel is calling up their C team right now,
Oh yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So they have that to worry about. And also in the world of television, I think DC is going to eat fucking Marvel's lunch. I really do.
Oh, I think the
100%.
DC shows are already more yeah, they already have like such a
100%.
fan base. They're already
How
more
many
successful.
shows do they
than
have
that.
versus Marvel's?
But it
Yeah.
just depends on like I think Marvel is
yeah, but the Marvel
trying-
properties
have
are
to
big in
say-
TV
they're
right now.
trying the Marvel
Like Loki
properties,
alone, like
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
trying to bring in something new, right?
Yeah.
So they're trying
Previous
to like
to that, like how many of them have failed?
Yeah.
yeah,
Like-
true.
But that's
Sure.
why they like went back to the drawing board, like redid their game plan, and they're gonna come back at us with like something.
I have to say
better.
though, like,
Well,
if,
let's
if,
save
like
it for
if
the
it's not
episode
weird.
because it's gonna
Yeah.
like I know everybody's gonna have a lot of strong opinions, and there's lots of there's lots of things that DC is doing well, and there's lots of things that Marvel's doing well, and there's things that DC isn't doing so well, and same for Marvel. Like DC is on the cusp of probably being the most woke or most progressive comic book brand for sure, right? They have that on their side. Marvel is just kind of starting to catch up. And speaking of progressive Marvel, Eternals.
Yeah.
Eternals is talking about their one of the characters, one of the heroes in Eternals, Phastos, played by Brian Tyree Henry. They're gonna have their first gay kiss in a Marvel film.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
what do I
I think
about
cool
it?
too. I think cool
I
too.
think the only thing I don't like about it is the fact that we're talking about it. So like not us in like,
Right.
like people are in general talking about it.
That it has to be
because-
something to even talk
yeah,
about.
like,
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just-
like whatever.
Like if you
Yeah,
like
I don't give a
you
shit.
sent me this link and I'm like, okay, cool.
To me, that's
like
not
have
the-
it in the movie, okay.
to me,
Yeah,
that's
but
not...
the reason I sent the link is because it's kind of snowballed into
Yeah,
something
yeah,
else,
for
and I
sure,
want to
for
get
sure.
into that.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Sorry.
But like I just think it's like a fallacy by definition because the way like if people talk like it's good that we're talking about it, but also when we talk about it we turn into a gimmick or we turn into like even if it's not that, it's, some people always wonder if it's like publicity stunt or whatever or like
Right.
a marketing thing.
I think it's definitely...
It shouldn't be. It should just be there.
Yeah,
right?
it's definitely something that should just be normalized on the big screen. I hope that they do it right. I hope that it just like fits into the story and that it's not like awkward.
Yeah, well, apparently it's gonna have like Phastos is gonna have because like okay, so from what I get from the Eternals is there's gonna be a moment of awakening when they figure out that they are Eternals, but they're living a very normal life.
Okay.
Like that's my kind of take on it. Like that's how I would write it, where they're kind of living their own lives, and then there's something that goes off in their brain that tells them, kind of like in Battlestar Galactica, when the Cylons, were triggered and they figured out they were Cylons. They're just going through their everyday normal life with their families and their jobs and whatever. And then boom, there's this impulse in your brain that tells you that you're something more, right?
Right.
And apparently the Phastos is going to have a husband and a child, and they're going to have a family and the whole nine. So not only is it going to be a gay kiss, it's going to be a gay couple with a child as well.
Well, yeah, I like that. That makes
yeah,
sense.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And
Because then it's part of the story. It's like part of
Wait.
their...
So
it's not just a kiss. It's like a backstory with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
is that the story of the Eternals? I thought the whole thing was like they've been our deities this whole time and we've gotten them wrong or something.
but they're hiding in plain sight. Like
But you're saying they didn't know this whole
yeah,
time?
I think that
It's
might be
weird.
a part of it. I think there may be some sort of like omnipotent force kind of controlling their awareness of who they really are, right?
What excites me about this
Oh.
is that has the potential to make Phase 4 really complicated and introduce like other
Yeah.
layers of villains and heroes into the universe for Phase 4. So you're saying it's Marvel's C team, but it depends on how the story writing carries through from movie to movie. So I'm
Right.
hoping that it's all interconnected and they have some kind of grand plan
Well,
for
no,
Phase 4.
what Frank is saying is like in the comics, it's their C team. So it's like
Yeah, oh,
whether or
okay,
not it
okay.
does well, that's to be determined.
Yeah.
But like this is not their like Avengers. This is not their frontliners. Right?
Okay.
This
Because
is their Wednesday night strip.
Yeah,
club.
no, which I get,
Yeah.
but like to me, it's all about the storytelling, and I think Marvel has already shown us with Guardians of the Galaxy that they can take a not so well known property and make it into something like
For
really
sure.
awesome.
Yeah,
So-
I agree with that, but I think that there was that video I sent you guys of Anthony Mackie kind of doing it. He was doing a con and he was talking about how he's now realizing that people aren't going to the movies to see him as an actor. They're going to see the Falcon, right? And he thinks that's really something that's kind of started to permeate, across culture as far as film watching habits go, is where people are going to actually go see their favorite character instead of actually going to see actors or going to see performances.
Yeah.
And he was likening it back to the 80s when, like, your favorite actor would be Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you'd want to go see whatever he was doing next, no matter what it was, right? And I can recall times like that for me, Like Van Damme, when I was a kid growing up, like if you put Van Damme, I didn't give a fuck
Yeah,
what it was.
yeah.
I was going to see the movie.
I
Yeah.
could do both.
Right?
It depends.
Yeah.
Like I've done both, but yeah.
Yeah, but as a result, like you get carbon copies of some of the movies,
Yeah.
and it's like when Schwarzenegger finally does something like Jingle All the Way, it's like this big thing because it's not his carbon copy movies.
Right.
Like that also has a bad stigma where it's just like, yeah, you're seeing a Sylvester Stallone movie or a Schwarzenegger movie.
Right.
It's like it should be. I don't know. I kind of disagree with him. Like it should be the character. It should be
Well,
the story.
It depends on the actor too. Like not every actor is that kind of like typecast. Some actors are versatile, and that's
Yeah.
why they're fun to follow and like go watch.
Listen, nobody
right?
likes typecasting. Nobody hates typecasting more than actors, except for the old ones, like
Yeah.
like the ones that like owe their entire career to typecasting. Nobody hates typecasting more than actors because then they only get that one specific role. And as artists, they all wanna branch off. And like yeah, like I'll see a movie because my favorite actor's in it. But like at the end of the day, I'm seeing the movie for the movie, like not because of who's in it.
So-
And it should be that way.
Well,
It
yeah.
should be.
And
Yeah, I
sometimes
agree.
you follow writers, and sometimes you follow directors.
I follow
so,
directors.
Like for
I
me,
follow
it's a
the
mix.
directors.
directing is different.
I
Yeah,
follow
for
writers
me, it's
too.
like a mix.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I'll go.
Yeah, but I
for
think that
different
you're
reasons.
a more refined film, film
little
fan
bit.
than other people.
I'm not a
right?
cinephile though. Like some people are total cinephiles. and,
Yeah, I know,
like,
but I
yeah.
think Anthony Mackie's just talking about the general kind of audience who could give two shits about.
But that's his audience. They cater to like what younger audience,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
right?
It's true.
So
Yeah.
like anyone older than like the age of like 18, really, I don't think they see it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And also I think
I
like
don't.
it shifted away
Yeah.
from Hollywood movies because like I think what he's getting wrong is that like that stuff still happens. It's just not in the front lines of Hollywood because Daniel Day-Lewis releases anything, I'm fucking watching it no
Right.
matter what, right?
Right.
It's like it does still happen. There are still actors that you need to go see, but it's just not like the Stallone type movies
Right.
where it's more like the art house types that like
Yeah.
like-
Well, I feel like Adam Sandler was at the front of Uncut Gems. That's why people wanted to see Uncut Gems.
Mm.
It's because like it was Adam Sandler in like a different kind of role,
Mm.
right? So
Okay.
And for me, it does for me, actually, what's interesting is what I've been noticing is I like seeing teams of, so for example, Nolan is my favorite director of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And his movies are the same teams of people. You got Tom Hardy, you have like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. They're all the same people with like the one or two main characters that like are one-offs, like Leonardo DiCaprio, right, for Inception. And it's like that's what I'll go see all the time. And those are like, they're not carbon copies of each other by any means, of course, because Nolan doesn't do that. But like, if you're talking about like, oh, we're gonna see a Stallone movie in a different way every time he releases one, that's the modern version of it. It's like
And then-
there's directing teams that have like their own cast of characters, like their own cast of actors
Right.
that they like use over and,
and
over
also,
again.
if you're
Right.
playing a character that already has a huge following and has had a following for like decades,
Mhm.
then like how do you expect to be bigger than the decades of fans that have been reading
Mhm,
that
mhm.
material
True.
for
Exactly,
that
yeah.
long, right?
True.
Like
Well,
I
you're,
gotta-
you're
New
just like
Falcon,
you've been acting
Yeah.
for how long? Like how long has this guy been an actor? Like 10
16 years.
Yeah, 20 years.
He said so in the interview.
Yeah.
So, but the character has he predates that. Like the
Yeah.
character predates
Yeah.
that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
timeline. So then you're
Yeah.
gonna have people
Yeah.
from all different generations like really wanting to see that character on screen, and those generations might not be familiar with that actor.
Yeah,
so.
but he has a point. Like he definitely has a point about like I don't think his read on the situation is unfounded. I think he definitely
yeah,
has
yeah.
some key
He has a
points
point.
that
But
make
I think
sense.
there's like other reasons why that's happening too. Like it's more complex.
I guess
than,
what
like,
we
the
disagree with
obvious.
is whether or not it's a good thing or
Yeah.
a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
not like 100% one or the other, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
I got a Nolan casting trivia question for you.
Okay.
Who's had the most castings in Nolan's movies?
I know who it is. Cillian Murphy. No?
Michael Caine.
Oh, really?
He was in
Oh,
he was
shit,
in The Prestige.
that's true.
He was in Batman. He was in
That's-
Interstellar.
Yeah, he's in
Yep.
all of them.
Michael Caine.
Damn.
Mike, okay.
Yeah, Michael Caine.
He's awesome. I
He's
love him.
fantastic.
He's the best
Michael Caine's
Alfred.
great. He was the
Actually,
best Alfred.
I like Jeremy Irons.
I like Jeremy
'cause
Irons
I love
too.
Jeremy Irons.
I like Jeremy Irons too. But yeah, no, Michael Caine was my favorite Alfred for
That
sure.
is true. He's in every single one.
Mm.
Yeah. Speaking of Alfred, we need to talk about the RIP very soon too. Yeah, that was pretty sad.
What?
Alfred, he died in the comics.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, he
Rest
died
in
the
peace,
comics.
bro.
Yeah. he
He'll
died
be
in the comics.
back.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
He's gonna be
People
like
are already saying
an
like, how can you have the
AI
Bat
to
family
rival.
without Alfred?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So I want to go back to this Eternals thing real quick because the thing I wanted to touch on we didn't really touch on. So the African American community, a subsect of them, is not very happy with this decision because they feel that these are the types of people that feel like there's some sort of grander conspiracy to kind of feminize African American men, and to kind of like make them more sissified. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard Dave Chappelle talk about this or Martin Lawrence, but Dave Chappelle believes in this conspiracy wholeheartedly because every time he's ever had a big movie role or something where there was a big production behind it, they're like, can we put you in a dress? Can can we do something where we can like dress you up as a girl? He's like, and they're always like, Martin Lawrence did it, Tyler Perry does it, blah, 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 blah. And Dave Chappelle's like, why do you want to fucking put me in a dress? Like, you know, and there's a lot of African-American people, men, women that believe that there's a conspiracy to kind of take away the maleness
Masculinity
of the African-American male.
But isn't that just
Weird.
homophobia?
No, it's not.
I don't know.
Do you think it's fair to classify as homophobia?
I think so. I think it's
If
a
you don't
form
know
of,
these people are saying
but
it?
I think it's a form of homophobia, and we have seen the LGBTQ community in Toronto, at least anyway,
Sure.
has stood up against this. They do say that there is like increased homophobia among certain groups of the community. So
Yeah, but we're talking about something very specific. We're not talking about a general sense
but
of
it's like people react.
disorder in our
Yeah.
city. We're talking about something very specific.
Well, why
right?
can't you have two black gay characters? What's the big deal?
My problem is, why did you announce it?
Why did you know?
Why did you even have to say
Why did Marvel announce it?
Yeah, why did you
Yep.
even have to say anything or just
Yeah,
let it happen?
I'm on that camp. Yeah, for
and
sure.
just let it be.
Yeah.
Because
I
you
feel
know
like that'd be
Marvel had
less
to
of a big
announce it.
deal.
That's just
Yeah.
Marvel,
Yeah,
right?
Because
Cause
now they
cause-
want more publicity,
yeah.
regardless of bad or good. And that's
I know.
publicity.
Yeah.
publicity.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But like the uproar is really dumb. Just don't announce it.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. But to address your point, Frank,
Sure.
like all these conspiracy theories about like, especially Hollywood.
I want to make it clear. I don't share this point.
I know.
Okay.
I don't think you
okay.
do. Like all these conspiracy theories, especially surrounding Hollywood, is what most people don't understand is Hollywood is not a one body. It's like you can't have a conspiracy when all of these different studios and these like writers and these directors, they're not one singular fraternity or something. Like they're all doing different things.
How do you
And
know?
when yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Illuminati. But like it's just not how, like the business is so disjointed that like seeing a pattern is like more often than not a coincidence because there's not
Yeah.
a single body that allows something and doesn't or like stop something from happening or allows something else from happening.
Well,
Right.
I think
It's
we've also seen
There's
a lot
standards. There's definitely standards like industry standards, but like there's no way that somebody's making a writer do something because we're trying to take away masculinity of black men. Like no, there's no governing body that like fucking masterminds this. I don't know.
I was just gonna say, like, we've seen a lot of straight black men on screen in Marvel movies, so I don't see where they're coming from for these movies. It doesn't seem to make sense.
Hell, we saw Anthony Mackie do a gay black scene in Black Mirror.
Mm.
We were just talking about Anthony
I
Mackie.
didn't see that. I didn't see that.
Yeah, the one where he has this video game. It's like a fighting game, and it's so real. Like basically, you put something on the side of your temple, and your consciousness goes into the game,
Mm-hmm.
right? You become the avatar in the game. You live in the world of the game.
Right.
And his buddy's playing the game with them, but his buddy picked picked one of the female characters, and they're like, you can have sex in the game, right? And they basically have a sexual relationship within the context of the game, and one of them ends up getting very confused and can't determine whether it's just friendship or whether it's intimacy between friends or whatever, and it gets very convoluted, and they can't figure, and there's like this whole process of them trying to figure out whether they love each other and they're gay or they're just
Right.
friends or whatever. But Anthony Mackie did the fucking scenes, and it was crazy. It
Wow.
was
So it
yeah.
sounds like he played it well, and maybe
He did.
Maybe that's why
He
they
did.
were inspired to do this.
He
like-
did, but let me throw something out at you, okay? Because I find this very, very odd. So the one thing I find really weird about this whole thing is that there's this uproar about Brian Tyree Henry playing a gay guy, and let's face it, he's a very big strong fucking black guy. Like that's one thing that has to be pointed out, right?
Uh-huh.
But Richard Madden is actually like, there's rumors surrounding his sexuality saying that he might be gay. And when people started talking about the Eternals movie potentially being the first place where they were going to have an openly gay character, everybody assumed it was going to be Richard Madden. But now it's Brian Tyree Henry, who isn't gay at all. Right?
Yeah.
And there's no doubt about his sexuality. So I could see why somebody in the African American community with a little bit too much time on their hands
Oh yeah. I
could
guess.
get to that kind of,
Sure.
conclusion on something like
But
that.
if it was
right?
that offensive to the community, then why would the actors agree to do it or play it?
Because maybe the actor
Money.
doesn't. Yeah, that.
Yeah, but like,
That
but like, you're not
status?
gonna
And
debate.
they're not part of that.
Exactly. Like, there's got to be people on.
Yeah, I said
who feel both
subsect,
ways.
right? I
so
said
it's got to be
subsect.
homophobia. So to me, that's just homophobia.
I said subsect. So one
Well,
of the.
actually, I definitely don't fucking agree
You
with this.
can't.
I've never
you
even
can't
heard of this before.
Okay, first of all, you can't
But-
classify that as homophobia because
it
you don't know how
shuts
it's
down,
motivated.
because it
Okay.
shut down the entire conversation
Yeah.
as soon as you say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like from what it sounded to me, from what little I like heard about it, is that like it's just like killing masculinity and not the fact that they're like, because it started off with like Dave Chappelle being like the offered to wear a dress. That's not being gay. That's
Right.
not anything to do with sexuality. It's like it's neutering like masculinity. I think that's the and like I'll
Why was he asked to wear a dress?
I
Where
don't
did
know.
that come from?
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's producers like Dave Chappelle tells this story on Inside Hollywood. No, Inside the Actor Studio, where he's been approached a number of times by different production companies, and they're doing like a skit or something. And they're like, you know what would be really fucking funny is if like we dressed you up like a woman, we put a dress on you. And they're like, Martin Lawrence did it, Tyler Perry did it, blah
Yeah,
blah 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 blah.
the NBA player did it. The one NBA player did it. They made his like
Oh,
uniform
Larry Johnson.
into a dress. But
Back
I think
in the day?
I think that was a statement
Grandmama?
because of like men in sports or whatever. That sports
Mm.
is like all masculine, and they were
Mhm.
trying to like make a statement about that.
But listen, like if you have a conspiracy theory about something and you look for patterns, you'll find
I
the
agree.
patterns.
Yeah.
I
Like,
agree.
It doesn't mean anything.
I agree. I
So-
agree. But
there is like a subsect of every like tribe
yeah,
that is super insecure about their masculinity,
Yeah.
and like it's just yeah.
yeah, I completely agree. And there's actually a couple celebrities kind of voiced their opinion on it too. And one of them was that TV judge, Judge Joe Brown,
Mhm.
and he was like, yeah, he was calling it out as this. Like he was like, here's another, here's another entertainment company who's trying to feminize black men,
Mm.
right?
But these are actors who already have a career too. If they were offended by it, they could say no.
I'm
to
not.
the
No,
role.
no.
No, but
Obviously, Brian
there's-
Tyree Henry is
yeah.
not offended by it.
Yeah, he's not.
Right?
And Dave Chappelle said no to wearing a dress. Someone was like, "You should wear a dress," and he's like, "I'm not doing that."
Exactly,
Like,
but he's
yeah.
not doing it because he doesn't want, because he believes in this idea that there's some sort of apparatus in Hollywood that wants to feminize black men. Dave Chappelle really does feel that way about
Yeah.
this particular issue, right?
But then I just
don't know.
don't get why you would force that on someone who's not comfortable with that when there's so many people who are like trans or something and like would want to do that.
Because
for-
he's Dave Chappelle.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get the
You can't just
joke.
go take a random trans
I know,
person and
I
like,
just
hey,
don't
let's give
see-
you a comedy video.
I just don't see why it's funny. I don't know. I don't get the joke.
Oh,
Like, to
we
me, it's not-
don't have the context for the joke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Who
the
knows?
context in the
It'll probably be funny.
the
though.
context for the joke was in the 90s,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
The context for the joke no longer really exists anymore.
Exactly. Like
right?
there was a
But-
time when cross-dressing was a joke in itself.
Yeah, I know, I
and people
know.
thought
I
that
agree.
was funny.
I
And it
agree.
wasn't particular to like a person of color or
No.
something. It was just in general people thought it was funny to wear a dress and like
I don't get this conspiracy at all, though.
Yeah.
But there's
Yeah.
so many actors and black actors and about African American actors that are just like so hard in the movies. Like,
Yeah.
where are you getting this from? Because a few
Yeah.
times they were asked to do something not so
Yeah,
masculine.
and like to what end? Like what did they think is gonna happen? You cross dress some black characters and like you're gonna brainwash.
I
You
don't
know
know,
what I
dude.
mean?
I don't know. Listen, I don't want to expand any further on this because like there's a real fucking rabbit hole as far as black entertainment goes and homosexuality.
Yeah.
Like I don't
for
know if you
sure.
guys have heard about the whole down low world in terms of the hip hop world, but it's fucking crazy. Like there's rumors that like everybody's gay, from like Sean Puffy Combs down to like LL Cool J. Like there's people that have accused these guys of being gay, like all of these guys being gay, right? And I don't know whether it's because they're artists or whatever it is. I don't believe it. I think it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
But there is a small group within the hip hop community that believes that there's a lot of guys faking the funk, right?
And these guys are probably not successful.
Yeah, but also we can't, okay. In the world of hip hop, we can't assume that every one of these guys that raps about selling drugs and shooting people has actually done it.
Oh, for
Right?
sure.
Right.
I think it's also a lot harder to be like a flamboyant hip hopper. Like you can't really hip hop and be flamboyant at the same
Are
time.
you
It's
kidding me?
kinda
That's
Lil
hard
Nas
to
exactly
X.
what
tell, right?
yeah.
No,
That's
but I
exactly
mean,
what
like,
hip hop is these days.
effeminate flamboyant.
They were
Like,
wearing t-shirts
modern-
down to their ankles at one point, like dresses. Like
well, like you can make that argument for modern day rap.
You
but
could
like,
do it as a pop
but
artist, but like it's
rap
really,
at its like finest. Like there
Hip-hop.
was hip hop at its
yeah,
finest.
it was like so
Rap in
masculine. Yeah,
specifically was very masculine. Let's get something straight.
yeah,
here.
it was. The image was very masculine.
and I
right?
could see, so I could see like
and
where,
that's how you sold records.
but I could see where maybe like a resistance to that idea of maybe like something new emerging from there. I don't know. I could see where a resistance to this idea would come from
yeah,
that culture. But yeah,
yeah,
You guys remember? Have you guys ever seen The Interview?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like
So
when
good. That movie's
Eminem like
great.
comes
Oh
out,
my God.
comes out on like
Oh, yeah.
an interview.
Oh, yeah.
That was the funniest scene ever. He's like,
I totally
go
forgot
back to
about
what you
that.
said. Yeah, I said I shot the guy. No, the other thing. What? I said I was gay. What? You guys didn't know?
Yeah,
I'm
exactly,
surprised you didn't know.
exactly.
I
That's
talk
so
about
funny.
I talk about sucking dick all the time. Like,
I'm surprised you all didn't know. That's my fucking favorite scene.
I like that. That's so
So-
Yeah,
good.
so
so good. Such a good scene. Oh my god, yeah. Okay. So we're gonna end the show on probably one of the weirdest, craziest casting rumors that I've heard in forever. So there's talk that Rami Malek is gonna play the Silver Surfer whenever they do the Fantastic Four or whenever they do Silver Surfer, because obviously we haven't been introduced to this character yet within the context of the Disney MCU. We got introduced to him in the Fantastic Four film franchise, which was shit,
Yeah.
complete shit. There's nothing redeemable in that entire
Especially the
film
second
universe.
one.
Well, enough time has
Um,
passed too that we don't have to try
I
to
didn't
redeem
hate the
it.
first one, but it was a bad movie.
It was horrible, dude.
But like
The
Jessica
dance
Alba.
scene? The fucking dance scene.
I
Remember
don't
the dance
I
scene
don't
with
even
Mr.
remember
Fantastic?
that.
Terrible.
Terrible.
Oh my god, that was fucking worst. Anyways, so Rami Malek as the Silver Surfer. Okay, one,
Oh yeah, it's kind of weird.
the Silver Surfer is like a jacked like surfer dude. Like he's
Yeah.
Rami Malek looks like he's 120 pounds soaking wet, right?
You'll work him out probably.
But I think, okay, if I was the casting director and I was trying to make sense of why this casting worked, I don't see it. Like,
yeah.
he's got those crazy eyes. Like, his eyes are so like wide, and he's kind of got like that bug-eyed look to him a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to picture him as like silver
Yeah.
and bald.
You know who I would do?
I'm fucking terrified right now.
You know who I would get? Obviously, like there's problems with like whatever, like licensing or I don't know what the thing is, but Stephen Amell. I think Stephen Amell would do a great
Oh, you'd be
like
a good
Silver
surfer.
I
Surfer.
could see that 100%.
He'd be a
because
good
like
surfer.
He's got the body for
he's
it
got the
too.
body. His face is just because the Stephen like
He's a handsome dude.
yeah. And like you need, I don't want to say Stephen Amell's generic looking, but like the surfer has like a very generic looking face, but Stephen Amell could pull that off, right?
Oh yeah, and
You know
he's
what I mean?
gone bald and like, he's got the head. for
Yeah,
it.
yeah. He's got the
chin for it.
shape. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got the shape. He doesn't have a very like unique jaw structure. It's very like classically handsome, you know. So oh my god, I'm going into that territory again, Jesus. But anyways,
yeah, I don't know. I feel like
You definitely have a type, Chris.
since he's a
Yeah.
silver
God
muscular
damn it.
silver muscular dude, I think almost anyone
Yeah.
could play him. But yeah,
It's like they saw Rami Malek's chin and was like, "That's the one."
yeah,
Yeah, but dude, those eyes, like that does
Yeah.
not scream surfer at me at all.
it's weird
the
because
permanent like bags under his eyes.
Yeah, it just doesn't scream surfer at me at all.
well, this would be the rule because the entire thing is gonna be like 80% CGI anyway.
Yeah, that's
They'll
true.
just
Yeah.
fix up the eyes and all that.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah.
just dot him up and CG him.
Yeah, no, it'll definitely be dot. Yeah, it'll definitely be the dot thing with the CGI. But, I will say that if anybody has the temperament to kind of like hold everything back and speak in a very kind of calm and monotone kind of way, the way that the surfer does, Rami Malek's a perfect
Yeah.
choice.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure,
like
yeah.
his
Right?
voice could work for it. Maybe
Yeah.
that's
Like-
why they chose him.
Like he could definitely deliver those lines.
Yeah.
Like I think
that's
that could
that's
be-
actually one of the reasons why I chose Stephen Amell, so he doesn't have to like hurt himself trying to act.
Oh.
Hey, I love Stephen Amell.
Oh, damn.
I love Stephen Amell.
Oh,
I'm just
shit.
saying he doesn't have that much experience in acting. Have you ever seen
8
Ninja Turtles?
Hmm.
8
8 years. 8 years of what, Arrow?
Yes.
Of playing.
Dude, he has some pretty amazing scenes. Is there in Arrow?
he
for
does.
sure.
He does. But he has.
And